Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
Would you rather get $5 million or cancer?
What's the cash with the 5 mil?
Straight to your bank account, $5 million or cancer.
And what's the cash with cancer?
You get cancer.
What kind of fucking question is that?
Yeah, it's pretty basic.
5 mil, I guess.
Same.
Okay.
Yo, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
The latest OnlyFans philosopher has graced us with her infinite wisdom, by which I mean a string of nonsensical ramblings that could only make sense to someone who believes astrology is a personality test. This is what we've come to, folks. People with zero credentials or critical thinking skills confidently spewing garbage because they have a following willing to pay for, well, let's just say not their intellect. Her insight, if you can call it that without laughing, makes you wonder if she's ever read a book or held a thought for more than 5 seconds. But why bother with things like logic or coherence when you can just bat your eyelashes, post some spicy pics, and call it a day? After all, we live in a world where clout trumps competence, and people like her have turned vapid nonsense into a lucrative career. This isn't an isolated case either. This is the average intelligence of people who think OnlyFans is their golden ticket to success. They mistake attention for validation and money for wisdom, forgetting that fame built on skin-deep appeal is about as stable as a house of cards in a wind tunnel. Their ideas are cobbled together from half-baked hot takes, TikTok trends, and whatever gets the most likes, with no regard for actual substance. It's not just embarrassing, it's insulting to anyone who values real knowledge and hard work. This is the intellectual equivalent of a microwave dinner, cheap, quick, and utterly devoid of nutritional value. And yet, these people have the audacity to act like they're the voice of a generation, dishing out advice as if they've cracked the code to life. Spoiler alert, they haven't. So next time you hear an OnlyFans model spouting off about relationships, politics, or the meaning of life, remember, you're not witnessing groundbreaking thought. You're just watching someone try to monetize mediocrity, one cringe-worthy take at a time. And honestly, the fact that this passes for influence says more about society than it does about her.
So I am a young millennial, and for my generation, we were really sold this boss babe life. Put your career first, don't get married, don't have a kids, don't even think about that until your mid to late 30s, don't worry about it, your career is what is going to fulfill you. And we really bought into that lie. And so many millennials, and some older than me, they did do that, and then everyone realized, oh wait, now I have the big promotion, I am making a lot of money, women are by the way, the left doesn't want to talk about this, but women are out earning men, I mean, you know, to and from, that this wage gap thing is such BS, but they have all of that, but they still feel like they're missing something. And the truth is that we were made for more. We were made to pour into a family and a husband and have children. And that is what is going to fulfill you at the end of the day. Like your career, you know, at the very end of your life, how much money you made and everything isn't going to matter, but who's going to be at your bedside on your deathbed. And so I think a lot of millennials started to have that wake up call. And now Gen Z is starting to have that wake up call. And so young conservatives really are embracing this. It's called trad wife lifestyle. So traditional wife, you know, being a stay-at-home mom and putting a focus on that. And so I think that's amazing. And you know, that's something I think about too. I have a really serious relationship right now. We're not engaged yet, but it's something that we're talking about. And you know, he knows that that's super important. Obviously, I feel like I'm in a place that God wants me to be with hosting this show, but I also really want to be a mother. And at the end of the day, if I had to choose to lose all of this, and if that was the only way to be a mother, I would choose that. And we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe there's a way for me to balance both a little bit, but I think a lot of girls are waking up to the fact that family really is everything and putting more of a priority back on that. And so I cannot wait to see how Gen Z really takes that back.
Here's the thing that I want to let women know. And I think this is, especially here in the West, the United States, etc. You know, we tell women that they can have it all. They can get a career, they can make this money, they could be a boss, and then while doing all of that, they can attract a man on their caliber that's also a boss, that's going to be okay with them being a boss and them working together in some kind of partnership, as you would say. And I'm here to tell you guys, nope, that's not the way the world works, okay? Men that are successful, hypermasculine, competitive, etc., they're going to want a feminine, submissive woman. And the problem is that so many women want to be married, but they don't want to necessarily be wives. And the reality is this: as a wife, by default of definition of your title, you are in a support role. You are to augment that man's castle and help him with what he has going on. So if you want to be a wife, you're going to have to concede and give up certain things to help that man excel. Because here's the reality: when a man's in a leadership position and thriving, you're going to thrive as a byproduct of being with him. But if a woman is in a leadership position, as you were describing earlier, where you're thriving, you don't want that guy to thrive with you. You're going to find a man that can compete with you. That's the difference between men and women. Women are incapable of leading men, typically, especially if they're of lower socioeconomic status than themselves. Men, though, are okay with that. Women don't like to share their excess resources. Men are built to do it.
The modern woman, rewriting life's script like a rebellious playwright who didn't read the first act. Forget harmony, forget balance. Today's mantra is career over everything, with family relegated to the dusty archives of maybe someday. And no, this isn't about genuine empowerment or smashing glass ceilings. It's about radical feminist dogma that sneers at traditional roles as if they were the root of all oppression. Remember when a woman's pride was in her home, her husband, and her children? Yeah, those days were torched on the altar of the 1960s feminist revolution, leaving behind a world where typewriters and homemakers are equally passé. Fast forward to today, and it's all about the grind, the hustle, the corporate ladder. But here's the plot twist. Biology doesn't care about your quarterly goals. As women march confidently into their 30s with their eyes on promotions, reality waits around the corner, holding a big, blinking neon sign that reads, "Fertility has an expiration date." Sure, you can freeze your eggs and hope science catches up to your ambition, but no amount of career accolades will offset the ticking clock of nature. It's like playing poker with a stacked deck. You might win a hand or two, but you're going to lose the game.
A lot of times she doesn't know that she's been pretty much disqualified from being a serious girlfriend from the beginning because she has tendencies that aren't attractive to me. But the problem is that so many women think acting like a guy, chasing a career, being masculine, being dominant, being competitive, let me challenge you, all this shit is attractive. It's not. And I tell girls all the time on the podcast, all right, so you think it's attractive for you to be a boss, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is. Okay, well, you know what? How about this? How about on Saturday nights, I wear heels and I wear a dress. Would you go out with me? Ew, no. Fantastic. That's exactly how men feel when you talk about you being a boss babe and competitive. Oh my God, no, it's not. It is the same because a masculine woman is just like a feminine man. But here's the craziness. Women expect you, right, to be masculine, right? And they can pick and choose when they want to be feminine. And you're supposed to accept them no matter what. But if I act feminine, right, maybe on a Saturday, they would never accept me. So what men want is considered discrimination. What women want is considered standards.
The only way as a man that you can typically win in the dating game or even typically outsmart women at their own game or some of their own seduction strategies is by removing the connection that they all deep down desire from a masculine man. Let me explain. All of the great traits that make you you, okay? This could be your masculinity, the leadership that you provide, the care, the comfort, the element of protection, all of the things that she is seeking from a man. Instead of giving that right away, if you withhold those things and even make that other person earn them from you, what's going to happen is that she now values it and she respects it more. By you withholding that need that she deep down has for comfort and for connection, what's going to happen is you will naturally position yourself as a man who is pre-selected by other women, and she's going to sense that you have more options, and she's potentially going to even think that you are now investing that care and comfort into somebody else that isn't her, which is going to make her work for your approval even more.
And what about men in all this? Oh, they're just watching the circus, popcorn in hand. Contrary to feminist narratives, most men aren't thrilled about the "I don't need a man" anthem blaring from the rooftops. They're wired for partnership, not to be sperm donors or the guy who gets ignored unless the Wi-Fi is down. Men want someone who values their role as providers and protectors, not an opponent in the endless game of who's better. Relationships thrive on mutual respect and appreciation, not on trying to one-up each other or weaponizing independence. The harsh truth? In the pursuit of a misunderstood empowerment, many women are driving straight past what truly brings fulfillment: love, partnership, and family. Careers are important, no one's denying that, but they aren't the end-all, be-all of existence. A successful life isn't measured by your LinkedIn endorsements. It's built on the people you share it with. It's time to recalibrate, because the current script is heading straight for a tragic finale.
To all the young gentlemen just noticing the fairer sex, here's a tip. Do not date an ambitious girl. Okay? If that girl's, you meet her in college and she's talking about how she wants to do this and she wants to do that and accomplish this and accomplish that and she wants to be the big dog CEO of some company, leave her. Immediately. Run. You will, trust me, you will save yourself a massive amount of headaches. Ambitious boss babe bitches are nothing but a fucking headache for a man. And honestly, considering they pretty much act like men, might as well just date a dude.
Do you think like what you see in the movies where if you were to strike a guy in the nuts, he would just like, fall over and he can no longer control his motor? Like,
should we test it out?
I'm pretty sure,
I'm just saying
it hurts,
that's a good
but like,
start. I'm not going to tell people how to attack men. I'm just saying if you take those classes, they teach you.
How about this? Here, let me give women better advice. Go get a firearm. That'll help you out much more in a self-defense situation against a man than taking years of BJJ.
Let's not kid ourselves. Men are about as attracted to jaded, bitter women as they are to a cactus. Prickly, hostile, and guaranteed to leave you with emotional scars. Who in their right mind wants to spend their time with someone who's so bitter about the opposite sex that it practically oozes out of them? No one wants to wade through the endless resentment, the men are trash diatribes, or the exhausting battle of I'm independent versus I want companionship. We're looking for partners, not battlefield rivals. And let's address this feminist ideology that's been on a decades-long crusade against men. It's almost as if they've never once thought, hey, what do men actually want? Of course not. That would require self-awareness, and we all know that's in short supply. It's like asking them to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded. Good luck. Instead, they'd rather lecture us on the virtues of their latest girl boss's move, oblivious to the fact that the world doesn't revolve around their self-affirmed superiority.
As a young millennial myself, I would totally agree with what you just said, the lies that were kind of sold, and I don't think that they were maliciously instilled in you know, the daughters. Right. They thought it was right, and many friends, my personal friends and family members have also started to wake up to, wait, maybe being a 45-year-old CEO, I'm still alone and I don't have a family, and it didn't fulfill me. So
Well, and you know what is so many of my friends too did the waiting and then finally decided in their mid to late 30s, okay, now I think I am ready to have a family. And then you experience a lot of times fertility issues with that, with the waiting, and you put career first and everything. And that's just a huge struggle, I think, too. And so a lot of people are waking up to the fact like, oh, I wish that I would have tried to do this sooner. And I think that's something too that's been an eye-opener for people. Plus the fact that, and I talk about this a lot on my shows, which is very controversial even with conservatives, but the fact that almost all of us were prescribed, if you're a millennial, we were all prescribed birth control, whether we were having sex or not in high school at 15 years old for no reason, just to regulate periods or acne or whatever, and then not knowing otherwise the side effects, and then being on that through our 30s, and then realizing, oh my goodness, this has impacted my fertility.
Here's the thing. Men aren't the cryptic, misunderstood creatures that feminist theory likes to paint us as. We're not that complicated. Want to know what positive masculinity is? Well, newsflash. It's not the villainous caricature they've been taught to despise. Positive masculinity is about strength, reliability, and partnership. But go ahead. Ask a feminist about positive masculinity, and watch them spiral into an incoherent rant about toxic patriarchy, conveniently ignoring the actual qualities that define a man worth having. It's honestly a comedy show. Yeah, go ahead, pursue your career, build your empire, smash that glass ceiling, but don't forget that human connection is where real fulfillment lies. Men aren't looking for a partner who's just a walking resume. We want someone who's genuine, compassionate, and capable of building something real. A relationship that's built on more than ambition and cold ambition. If you're sitting there wondering why all the good men are taken while you continue to swipe left on genuine connections, maybe it's time to look at what you're really offering. At the end of the day, everyone deserves love and companionship. But guess what? It's a two-way street. That means mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to appreciate each other's roles. The choice is pretty simple. Keep chasing that hollow careerism and grow more isolated by the minute, or open yourself to the possibility of a life that balances success with real human connection. It's not rocket science. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal, link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.